Okay, let's talk about the IELTS speaking test. For so many people, it is hands down the most stressful 11 to 14 minutes of the entire exam. Today, we're going to break down how to prepare for it the right way. Because believe it or not, how you're practicing right now might be the very thing that's holding you back.
So here's the big question, right? It's not if you should practice. We all know you should. It's how. How in the world do you actually get ready for that super high-pressure test room environment when you're just studying by yourself?
Now, this might come as a bit of a shock, but it's true. The way most students are preparing for the speaking test, it can actually build the wrong habits, and that can end up lowering their score on test day. Let's dive into why that actually happens.
So, the main challenge is actually pretty simple. It is just incredibly difficult to copy the real official test environment when you're practicing alone. You don't have that examiner sitting across from you, and it's basically impossible to get objective, expert feedback on how you're really doing.
And this brings us to a really crucial point. It's not just about practicing. It's about practicing the right way. You see, when you practice under the wrong conditions, you're not just wasting your time. You're actively building habits that are going to fail you when it really matters. Let's take a look at some of those common mistakes.
Does this list look familiar? Come on, be honest. When you practice, do you hit pause to look up a word, or ask a friend for a better phrase? Or maybe you just re-record your answer over and over till it's perfect? Each one of these is a safety net that I promise you will not exist in the real exam. For instance, say you use a dictionary to learn an amazing word like ubiquitous. It sounds great in practice, but on test day, you haven't trained your brain to remember it under pressure. So what happens? You stumble, you pause, and your fluency takes a nosedive. This is exactly how bad practice creates this false sense of confidence. It just doesn't train you to think on your feet. And yeah, this quote just hits the nail on the head. Every single time you practice with these little helpers, you're training your brain to depend on them. And then on test day, poof, they're gone. And it can be a real shock. The only way to get ready is to mirror the real test conditions as closely as you possibly can.
Okay, so how do you actually do that? How can you create a true test simulation? Well, the key is to use a tool that's designed to tackle this exact problem. And that's where a speaking assessment task comes in.
And we're not just talking about a few practice questions here. This is a complete end-to-end practice test with 23 real questions. It's designed to cover the entire scope and length of what you can expect in the actual IELTS speaking exam. And those 23 questions, they're structured to perfectly mirror the 3 parts of the real test. So you'll go through all the intro and interview questions in part 1, you'll tackle that individual long turn, the cue card, in part 2, and then you'll get into that more abstract discussion in part 3. This makes sure you're totally prepared for the flow and the pacing of the entire test. No surprise.